Have you ever wondered how a small local event can just explode and launch an idea that ends up reaching millions of people? Well, that's kind of the magic of the TEDx model. It's really a masterclass in marketing that isn't about having these giant ad budgets, but it's about building a community and telling a really powerful story. Okay, let's dive into this playbook. This quote right here, it really gets to the heart of the whole philosophy. This isn't about just shouting into the void, It's about creating meaning, forging real connections, and answering that fundamental question for anyone listening, why should I even care? And that principle right there is the foundation for everything else we're going to talk about. So here's our roadmap. We're going to walk through the 4 key phases of the TEDx marketing journey. We'll start with building that core narrative. Then we'll move on to creating that initial excitement, then turning attendees into actual evangelists. And finally, we'll look at how an idea can just catch fire and spread all across the globe. First up, the absolute bedrock of this entire strategy. You have to understand that great promotion starts with a great story. Before you even think about sending a single tweet or an email, you have to get the narrative right. You can see here there's this huge shift in thinking. The old way? Broadcasting? Well, that's just a monologue. You're just making announcements at people. The TEDx way? Storytelling. That's a dialogue. It's all about creating a narrative that people can actually see themselves in and that they want to be a part of. This is the question every single organizer has to answer. It's not just about hosting some talks. It's about tapping into the pulse of your own community. Does your theme tackle a local challenge or maybe celebrate a local success? Answering the why now is what gives your event a soul and gives people a really powerful reason to get involved. Okay, so you've got your story. How do you start building that electric feeling of anticipation? Well, it's time to create some buzz before a single person even walks through the door. Building buzz means you've got to pull a few different levers at the same time. You don't just announce a list of names. You tell the stories of your speakers to tease their big ideas. You use social media for actual conversations, not just, boring updates. And you have to activate local press and community partners who are already invested in your city's success. And here is a perfect example of that in action. Instead of just talking about their theme, they made it something tangible, something you could share. A simple pair of red sunglasses became the symbol for the whole community to rally around. It's creative, it's interactive, and it gets people talking long before the event ever begins. Genius. Okay, the buzz is building. Now, the whole strategy shifts a little. The goal isn't just to get people to show up anymore. The goal is to transform them from a passive audience into active participants. And this is the million-dollar question, isn't it? How do you empower the people who are actually in the room to become your most powerful marketing engine? Well, the TEDx model has some very specific answers for that. The secret is to give people both the permission and the tools to participate. You explicitly tell them, please, live tweet this, share your favorite quotes. You create these spaces for interaction that go way beyond the main stage. Every single tactic here is designed to make it crystal clear that their voice isn't just welcome, it's actually part of the event's story. And this is what happens when that strategy works. When your attendees feel a sense of ownership, they stop being consumers of your event, and they start being its champions. They share quotes, they post pictures, they tell their friends, and they amplify your message in the most authentic way you possibly can. And now for the final phase, the one that really gives TEDx its incredible power. This is all about taking the ideas that were shared in just one room and giving them a chance to reach the entire world. The potential here is just staggering. I mean, take a look at this number. Over 50 million. That's the view count for Simon Sinek's famous Start With Why talk. This wasn't filmed at the main big TED conference. It came from a small local TEDx event. It's the perfect proof of the exponential power a single local idea can have when it's captured and shared effectively online. So, how do you do it? Well, the formula is surprisingly simple, but each part is absolutely non-negotiable. You need a great idea presented really well. That's your good content. Then you need to capture it with high-quality video and audio. That's good production. And crucially, you need a strategy to actually get it in front of people. And that's the good promotion. Yeah, the work is far from over when the event ends. In fact, you could say this is where the real amplification actually begins. You have to be proactive. Share those videos quickly, tag organizations that care about the topic, and give your attendees the tools to share their favorite talks with all their networks. So ultimately, the goal isn't just to run a successful event, it's to launch an idea that outlives the day itself. And this playbook, it isn't just for event planners, it's for anyone who has a message they truly believe is worth spreading. Which brings us to the final question to think about. What's yours?